out of rooms went back to Japan. I said, where are they? They went back to Japan, and then they called and they said, can we make a deal? They came back a couple of times. This happened. This was, as you know, it was over a period of months, and ultimately they agreed to open their economy. Now, the opening of the economy is worth more than $550 billion, the payment that they made. It's worth more. So between that and the payment, we reduced it down to 15%, but they were at about 28%, and then they bought it down.
Well, 28, well.
Yeah, I would let other countries buy attention. I feel good about it. I mean, look, I have one dispute, and the dispute is there could be some things with money and, you know, where it comes from, how it's come from, how it's printed, where it's printed, all of the standard things with the Fed. But I just want to see one thing happen, very simple. Interest rates have to come down. If the interest rates don't come down, we're knocking it out of the park with high interest rates. If interest rates come down, then that final little element kicks in, that's housing. And the sad part is that people, wonderful young people, young couples starting off, they can't get a mortgage because the rates are too high. Tim knows that better than anybody, I think.
Mr. President, if the rates are hurting families in the country, why let that keep going for another 8 months? Why not just fire them?
Because to do that is a big move, and I just don't think it's necessary. And I believe that he's going to do the right thing. I believe that the chairman is going to do the right thing. I mean, it may be a little too late, as the expression goes, but I believe he's going to do the right thing. The fact is, it's so big what's taking place in America, where the King of Saudi Arabia says you have the hottest country anywhere in the world, and I thought you were dead 1 year ago. I thought we were dead. I just left NATO, as you know. They're agreeing to pay 5%. We're not paying anything. We send them the equipment. They pay for 100% of everything now for the war, Ukraine. But I just left NATO, and every one of those leaders said, every country, they said, and very smart countries, very successful countries, frankly, and every one of them said you have the hottest country in the world. We did that over a period of a year, less than a year. I mean, if you think, I mean, less than. They say a year ago we would. And today, so I'm here 6 months, and we did it over, and we had the help of it. Men like this and people like standing right behind me. They're great professionals. They really are. They're great professionals. And in a short period of time, we made it the hottest country in the world. With all of that being said, we'd like to see, we can always do better, and we can do better if interest rates come down. Good job you do. You do a nice job. I watch you a lot.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Mr. President. Do you have a name in mind to replace the chairman?
I do.
One person.
Replace the chairman?
Maybe 3.
Any clues?
I'd pick him, but I think he's not leaving the Senate. No, sir, not. I'd pick him. Thank you. No, there's no pressure. No. We want to have, you know, his term comes up soon. I think he's going to do the right thing. Everybody knows what the right thing is. Even people that believed in, you know, the higher rates, they're all on board. They all want to see the interest rates come down. It's very important.
Mr. President, if he doesn't do the right thing, cutting insurance, as he said, would you guys consider?
I don't think we're going to do that. I don't think so. Yeah, that's a terrible thing. I have great respect for Tulsi and the documents they found on President Obama. Or frankly, it was an Obama thing, but it was the people that worked under him also working with him. And no, it's a very, very serious thing. Thank you very much.
Oh, I think he's leaving.
All right, everybody, you have been listening to President Trump live outside the Federal Reserve in Washington, D.C., along with Republican Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina by his side. I think what's key in terms of, certainly for the Bloomberg audience, is President Trump did say he talked about interest rate levels with Fed Chair Jay Powell when they were touring together the Fed's headquarters and the renovations and the construction site. So some of that coming out a little bit earlier.
Yeah, also toward the end of that conversation, a lot of questions about the Fed chair's future. The president said to fire Powell is a big move. It's not necessary. He believes Powell will do, quote, the right thing. He also said he has maybe 3 names in mind for the next Fed chair, but there's no pressure for Powell to resign. His term is up soon, and he repeated that, quote, he believes he'll do the right thing.
He said he thought he had a good meeting with the Fed chair, Jay Powell, and he said no tension. So just some of the headlines.
Well, you know, the rhetoric there was quite a bit different than rhetoric that we hear from the president on social media when it comes to the criticism of the Fed chair. He did mention that he was too late. He's worried that it is, as the saying goes, he said he could be too late, but much less aggressive in terms of the rhetoric than he has been on social media. Just in that press avail just now.
Well, and I think even he backed off, it felt like, a little bit when he came to the renovations in the construction site, in terms of it being a big project. He says the basement construction is expensive. The basement is always the worst place in a building.
Foundation layer zero, the basement.
So there were some things that it felt like he's somebody who understands real estate and construction.
New build,
there are some
new
specific
system.
nuances to the work that's being done there in terms of water tables.
Tables?
It makes it a little bit more of an expensive project. It's an old building, too.
It's an old
Just
building,
saying.
yes.
The
is
post
true.
office
We've heard
building.
that. And remember,
Post
Fed Chair Jay
office
Powell,
building.
Press conference next Wednesday.
Mail.
We'll be bringing it to you live on Bloomberg
Mail.
TV and radio.
Proton
Let's go
mail.
to Charlie Pellet for an update because there's been a lot of news outside of what's been happening in D.C. Hey, Charlie.
All right, we don't want to know what's outside. We just wanted to know what the Don was saying. All righty. And it was funny. So he mentions, I was listening. I was listening on the radio just now. That's why I put it live so you guys can listen too. And it was just funny because he was just saying something about a renovation, talking about a post office building, which automatically brought me to Proton Mail. And then he said we stripped it down to the bare steel. To the steel? I mean, maybe I'm just stretching, but either way, it's quite interesting. Like I said, we're just going to have fun with these last videos until we get to the next one. See. All right, peeps, I'm out of here. That was just a Don interview, and I was trying to loop you in right into the Matrix, baby.